What's up, everyone? Jacob Roach back here from the Killing Joke Studios and Mixing with Metal. Sorry, it's been a little bit of time since I've been on the channel here. I've been trying to get quite a few video series kind of compiled and put together so that I can start delivering you guys content more frequently. I love doing this stuff, so I want to make sure that you guys get what you need to get. So once again, thank you for checking out the channel. Today, I just have kind of a cool little thing I want to show you. Last night, I was online. I've been contemplating it for a few months, but I'm a big fan of plugin subscriptions. In fact, I'm writing an article right now on SonicScoop about plugin subscriptions, and I'll update the video with a link to that in the future. But I'm quite a big fan of plugin subscriptions, and I've been contemplating Kush Audio's plugin subscription for quite some time. It's only $10 a month, and it has quite a few plugins in it. So I opened a session, I threw some of the plugins in and just kind of trying it out and seeing what their plugins have to offer. So this is not a finished mix by any means. So what I'm going to do is actually just kind of walk through some of the plugins I used and what I used them for, and just kind of give you guys a general overview of the bundle. So let's start with something that's really awesome, the snare. With this Electra EQ. Now, I heard this tip from Nolly on a Nail the Mix lesson he did, and man, he was right. This EQ sounds absolutely incredible. So let me bypass it and I'll show you our dry. This is just a snare sample. It's all right. It's not very lively though, so I'm gonna play it one more time and I'm gonna bring the Electra in and show you just what this EQ is doing. Man, it just brings the snare to life so much, and it's even more of a difference if we listen to all the drums. I'll bypass it and then bring it in. Actually, I have it copied and tweaked a little bit over on the snare bottom, so I'll bypass that as well. And let me bring both of those in and just show you the massive difference it makes. Yeah, there's a volume boost going on for sure, but I mean, man, it cuts, and it's just this pleasant, it's really hard with, I struggle sometimes with EQs and dialing in my top end because it's just really hard to find pleasing top end. And for some reason, man, this thing just sounds great. And, I don't really know the settings. I know it goes up to 12 and down to -12, and I know there's these ranges here, but it doesn't really give you clear indication of what's where, and that's kind of nice because you just dial it in, And you can see I'm doing, on the snare bottom, for instance, I'm boosting 12 dB of something, and I don't know, it forces you to just use your ears. So this thing's awesome. I'm loving this. Another EQ that comes with it, that's Klanghelm, is this hammer EQ. Now, this hammer EQ is like a mastering grade EQ, the hardware unit is, and it's pretty cool. You can really get kind of crazy with this thing, and it sounds really cool. So I'm using this on a kick drum, and let me show you our raw kick sample. It's fine. I have some compression on there too, but actually, let me take that off. Here's completely raw. So that's cool, but let's bring this EQ in. And what's really cool is I'm actually boosting on all three bands of this. I did a video about mastering where I was actually trying out these plugins, and I used this on my my mastering video, Mastering at Home. I use this plugin, and it's really great. I'm boosting all three bands, and very rarely will I be able to do that, where I'll be able to boost a mid, low, and high band and still make it sound cohesive and good. And I don't know, it's a great sounding plugin. Let's see what I got here. Do I got any more? Oh yeah, cool. These transformers. So I don't know if I want to show you the rooms. I'll show you on guitar. So these transformer plugins are like preamp emulations. Now, the way I'm using them is not necessarily the way they're intended. It's not the wrong way to use them necessarily, but what's really cool about this is Kush actually makes a 500 series hardware preamp called the Omega preamp. And it's a really clean preamp, and what it allows you to do is throw these transformer plugins over them. They have a Model N, which should be pretty familiar. And then they have a Model A, which I'm sure you can associate the companies by their first letter. So that it's really cool. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to sound like a Neve just straight out because I'm using a different DI or a different preamp or whatever, but it still does something cool. So I actually have Slate's virtual mix rack FG73, which these should be the same or similar. And it's funny because they do completely different things. So I'll show you on guitar. Should probably unmute that kick. I mean, unsolo that kick. They do completely different things, and it's kind of cool because they both add nice color. The Omega sounds the Model N Omega sounds rolled off, but it's not bad. I think it sounds pretty cool on guitars. For this track, I'm not sure yet. Like I said, this isn't a full mix. This is just me messing around. So these are really cool. They're preamp emulations, and I'm really excited to try those more because I love finding these hardware preamp emulations because I don't have a rack of Neves or anything like that, so it's kind of cool to get those kind of non-linearities in there. Now, I literally just threw this thing up right before I started this video, and I just dialed something in, and I'm not sure if I'm using it right or not, but it sounds pretty cool. This is UBK1, and this is a compressor saturation unit thing, I guess, and it's really cool. So let me show you what it's doing on guitar. It's doing a whole lot, and man, I don't know if I'd use that in a mix or not, but whatever it's doing, it's pretty cool, and I love all these options: splat, smooth, glue, squish, crush, and you can dial in compression with one knob. It has a high pass mix knob. You have saturation, subtle or heavy. Here, let's just play around with it a little bit. It's definitely cool if you're using, I'm using just bias here, so that's definitely doing a cool thing for an amp sim. I'm going to reamp these guitars later. Like I said, this is not a mix session. I'm actually not even finished tracking it. We still got to throw some vocals on it, but it's definitely doing something cool. I like what it's doing. I can't wait to play with this one more, especially. It's very cool. So let's move on. On the bass, this is just some program bass. I have the same thing, the N preamp. Let me bring that in. Adding those famous Neve low mids into there, and it's weird. It is smoothing it out. I don't know if it's as pleasant, but it's still pretty. I mean, I think these are like $30, and again, the plugin subscription's $10 a month. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good. So, I'm into that. So, all right, now here comes my absolute favorite plugin, and I didn't even know it was going to be my favorite, and it's this Clariphonic EQ. Now, I tried this EQ when I was demoing it, and it was cool and everything, and I liked it, but I just was like, it's like high-end boosting, whatever. So when I got it again, I went through and I just started looking at presets, and I found this one that was mastering side opener, and it's some sort of mid-side technique, and let me just show you what it's doing, and man, it's pretty cool. So here we go. It's definitely there. The mix just sounds bigger then, and it's really cool. And I'm really into what that's doing. I also used it on some other stuff. This is some dumpster hits from Damage, and I used the same thing on that. No, I guess I just dialed this kind of something similar in myself with just kind of basing it off that preset. Same thing, just opening up. It's working really cool. Here's a pad. I'm doing the same thing on. Same thing, just opening it up, and it's really cool. So the only one I didn't cover is this. Let's see. We covered all of the clarifying, the Electro, the Hammer, the Omega A, which is another preamp thing. And then the only one I didn't cover was the pusher. Now the pushers, well, there's you're in cheat mode. Click to disable. Cheat mode, I guess. This is how the plugin should come, and it has no. It just has knobs, and it really has no indication of what anything is supposed to be, and it's intentional so that you really just play with it and see what it's doing. You can go into here and you can see everything that it is doing if you want to really look into it, but I haven't tried this one out yet. I'm curious to try it. It's very interesting, but maybe that's another video for another day. So yeah, just to recap, you're getting, let's see, how many plugins? You're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plugins. Okay, and these aren't 7 Joe Schmo whatever plugins. I threw these on and I was like, man, these sound amazing. I love my Slate Digital stuff for $15 a month. You can't beat it. But these are really great. And I think both of them together, you're talking $25 a month, and you're talking a slew of amazing plugins. For $10 a month, this is really a steal, and more plugins are on the way. According to Kush's website, at least, more plugins are on the way, and of course you'll be updated with all the new ones. So for $10 a month, you really can't go wrong. So I know you can download a trial, so go ahead and go do that. I think it's maybe 2 weeks long, maybe it's a month. If it's a month, that's really cool. But yeah, and try them out. And even if you run out of time, it's $10. Throw it up for another month. I literally bought these last night, just like, hey, I want to try them out again because it's $10. Don't go out to dinner one night and you can afford an entire suite of amazing plugins for a month. So these plugins are really awesome. I'm really happy to kind of get my hands on them and try and move forward using them. I'm really stoked on how they're sounding. So let me know what you guys think of how they sound, and if you've used them before, and just let me know in the comments below. If you have used them, leave this video a thumbs up, and yeah, let's keep the conversation open about these plugins. Any plugins that you like, especially subscription-wise, leave that in the comments below. We're still on track, trekking towards our 200 subscriber special, so I think we're almost at 160 right now, so make sure you share these videos with your friends, subscribe to the channel, get everyone involved so that we can all have a good time and learn some cool stuff about audio. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next time.